Hey there, ready to, really dive deep into a story that's got more layers than an onion.
I'm in. Always up for a good mystery, especially one with this much, history and speculation.
We're talking about the 2015 Mr. Olympia competition. Huge in the bodybuilding world, right? But one of the biggest names, Kai Greene, wasn't even there.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so fascinating, right? Like, what really went down? We've got these sources, these different accounts. It's wild how much they, contradict each other.
Okay, so first up, we're looking at this RX Muscle video.
Hmm.
They're known for being pretty raw, no holds barred.
Yeah, RX Muscle, they don't mess around. If bodybuilding had a gossip column, it'd be them.
Exactly. And the guy talking, Dave Palumbo, he's kind of a big deal. Competed, coaches, even has his own supplements. Like, he's been around the block a few times.
Total insider, yeah.
Huh.
So when Palumbo talks, people listen. That's a whole other level.
For sure. And he comes out swinging, saying flat out that Kai Greene wasn't banned, that he chose not to compete. Like, sign the contract, end of story.
And he makes it sound so simple, right? Sign on the dotted line, you show up no matter what. That's Palumbo's whole thing, personal responsibility.
Yeah, and he kind of shoots down any talk about the judges being unfair or pressure from behind the scenes. To him, it's all just noise, distraction.
Which, gotta say, makes you wonder if he's heard it all before. Like, maybe that's just how the game is played at that level.
Totally. But then we go to your next source, a video directly from Kai Greene himself. And it's intense, man. Like, you can feel the emotion.
Night and day compared to Palumbo, right? Green's not holding back. You can tell this whole thing really got to him.
He comes right out and says he was not allowed to compete. Direct contradiction. Doesn't get into specifics, but you know something's up.
Right. And he keeps using words like fairness, test of resolve. It's like he's hinting that something's not right, but he can't or won't say more.
It's got to be frustrating, to have this huge opportunity and then something happens.
Especially when you think about what these guys put into it, the training, the diet, the sheer willpower. It's not just a hobby, it's their life.
And Greene, even with all this drama, he still tells his fans to keep supporting the sport. He's not trying to tear it down.
There's a real sense of respect there, right? For the sport, for the other athletes. He's thinking about the bigger picture, even when he's hurting.
It's pretty remarkable when you think about it. Most people would be, shouted from the rooftops, but he keeps it classy.
Definitely. Makes you wonder even more about what really went on behind the scenes.
And then it's like we get this whole other layer of the story in that last interview you found. Way more personal.
Oh, yeah, definitely a different vibe. You can tell he's had some time to process, but you can still, hear that disappointment in his voice.
Yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking, honestly.
Yeah.
He talks about how much this one competition meant to him, years of work, sacrifice.
And it gives you a new appreciation, right, for what these guys actually go through. It's not just lifting weights, it's their whole life.
Yeah.
The food, the training, the pressure, it's gotta be intense.
No kidding. And for it to be ripped away like that, it's more than just a career setback. It's personal.
Absolutely. And what gets me is, even now, he's not, calling anyone out specifically. Could have easily gone there.
Right. I know. It's like he's protecting something.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to drag the sport through the mud. He wants to focus on the good stuff, the dedication, all that.
Shows real class, but, and I might be reading too much into this, it also makes me think there's more to the story. Maybe there are things he can't say publicly.
Oh, totally. And he doubles down, by the way, on that whole wasn't my choice thing.
Yeah.
Says it flat out again, even in this more personal setting.
So we've got Palumbo, all about the rules, the contract, right. Then Greene, who's saying there's a bigger picture, maybe some unfairness going on. Man, it's what do you even believe?
Right. And that's what's so fascinating. It's not just about bodybuilding anymore. It's about how these systems work. The hidden rules, the power dynamics.
Yeah.
Makes you think about all the stuff we don't see.
Big time. And it makes you wonder, how often does this kind of stuff happen? Not just in bodybuilding, but everywhere. It's are we really getting the whole story ever?
This whole thing, it really makes you think twice, about taking anything at face value.
Oh, for sure. We think we've got it all figured out, but then a story like this pops up and boom, totally changes your perspective.
1 minute it's all sign the contract, show up. The next, it's all this talk about fairness and hidden agendas. Wild.
It's a good reminder that there's always more to the story. And that sometimes the most interesting stuff is the stuff nobody wants to talk about.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
So, where does that leave us with Kai Greene? Did he walk away because of some, moral high ground thing? Or was there something shadier going on forcing him out?
Tough to say, right? We've only got these pieces, these different viewpoints. Could be a little bit of both. Who knows?
That's the thing with these deep dives. Sometimes you end up with more questions than answers.
True, but that's part of the fun, isn't it? Getting people to think a little deeper, question what they think they know.
Totally. And I think what we've uncovered here says a lot about not just bodybuilding, but like any field where the stakes are high. There's always going to be that behind-the-scenes stuff, the power plays, the unspoken rules.
For sure, and I think it's on us, the fans, the audience, to be aware of that, to not just accept everything we see and hear, but to dig a little deeper.
Couldn't agree more. Well, that's another deep dive in the books. Big thanks to everyone for coming on this journey with us. Remember, keep asking those questions, keep challenging those narratives. We'll be back soon with another story that needs unraveling. Until then, stay curious.